I desperately need to get out of one of the worst reading slumps of my life. So today I'm going to test every strategy for getting out of a reading slump that I can find until my problem is solved. As always, I'm going to cut it close with this one, but let's hope that I can de-slump myself right in the nick of time. Hi. I'm a terrible person. So one of my friends recommended me one of her favorite books like a long time ago, and when I was doing my 24-hour reading challenge back in November, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to just sit down and read the whole thing. Unfortunately, it was the last book on the list, and I only made it about 50 pages in before the challenge was over. Well, it's been months since then, and I've only read about 50 more pages of that book, and outside of those two books that I read in one sitting back in January, those are the only 50 pages that I've read all year. So I'm in a reading slump. And it's a particularly evil reading slump. In the time that I've been reading this book, I have also gifted that same friend a copy of my favorite book, and she has already read it and reviewed it. And the worst part, I haven't had the heart to respond to the review that she DM'd me because I still haven't finished the book that she recommended me. Long story short, I need to finish this book as soon as possible, so today I'm going to test out every strategy that I can find to get out of this reading slump. First, I had to do my research and find the strategies I wanted to use, so of course I started a vision board on Canva. The first strategy I found was to read outside, and at first I was pretty skeptical of this because it's February in Nebraska and doing anything outside sucks right now. But then I found this awesome stock image of a man reading outside in the cold, and it inspired me a lot. Another one I liked was to set a target, so I threw that right on there. Next, I was told that I should just give up. And that wasn't a freaking option. The next strategy was to revisit a favorite book, and while the goal here was to finish this one specific book, I still threw it on there just for kicks. I was then recommended to join a reading challenge, and I know a thing or two about those. Then I put a big old stack of books because another tip was to read a few pages from a bunch of different books. My favorite strategy was to go to a cozy/academic environment, and you know how much I love my cozy/academic environments. The last tip was particularly funny to me because it basically told me that I should have an intervention with my family about my reading slump. I'm just not reading as much as usual. It's not like I'm addicted to snorting books. But there you have it, the 7 slump strategies, in no particular order. All that was left to do was test them. Hey team, it's about 9 a.m. on Sunday. I just got out of the shower. I'm going to eat this muffin, and I have a goal of reading 10 pages while my hair dries. And then after I achieve that goal, I'm going to move to a cozy location, which will be the Crescent Moon Cafe, of course. And I'm hoping to get at least 100 pages done in that time. So I did my 15 minutes of reading, and I walked over to Crescent Moon, and it was a beautiful day for it. I was just loving life on my walk, listening to my little music, being so excited to read. Pretty much, I could already feel my love for reading returning, and I doubled the progress that I made in the last couple months. Okay guys, huge freaking success. First of all, it's just a beautiful day out there. Like, the walking was amazing. Let me look up the temperature, because it's really good for February. 46 degrees. They did have music playing the whole time at Crescent Moon, but I was surprised with how well I was able to like block that out and focus in on the book. I did only get 50 pages read, but getting out of a reading slump is all about setting goals, not meeting them, so I'm pretty happy with the progress I made, honestly. Yeah, overall, just a fantastic experience. With it being this nice outside, I'm super excited for whatever phase number it is, where I get to read outside. I have a hammock at home that I might set up. But first, I have to go pick up a textbook and do a photo shoot for the Senate campaign that I just signed up for, as if I needed another thing on my plate. I have beef with this bookstore. They were closed yesterday. They were closed today. It's not on the website. I also have beef with my car because it connected to my phone in the middle of this video and took away all of my audio. Basically, the bookstore was closed and I'd wasted precious reading time trying to get my textbook. But soon enough, I was ready for my intervention. And fittingly, I was still wearing my suit from the Senate photo shoot. You're probably wondering why I brought you here today. I do have something to tell you. I have been for a couple months now, I am in a reading slump. I know this may come as a surprise to both of you, but I just wanted to get it out, tell the people who are closest to me that I'm going through this right now. So if you have any advice for me.
Crack open a book.
You want to go get something to eat?
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So that was useless. Obviously, what was that ever gonna do for me? Anyway, I had like 5 minutes in my schedule to read outside, and those 5 minutes sure were lovely. I took a time lapse, but there was something stuck in my teeth the whole time, so I kind of just looked like a squirrel. But trust me, if I'd had more time and if the good weather would have kept up, reading outside would have helped me a ton. So Sunday ended and the school week started, and I realized at least a partial source of my reading slump. I'd be busy. Luckily today I had set aside a bunch of time where I didn't have to worry about homework so that I could actually finish this book. And I briefly tried reading in the academic setting of a museum, but when that proved to be a bit awkward, I knew I would just have to lock in at home. It is the busiest week ever, and I've had some pretty busy weeks. Between classes and labs and music, I've not had much time for anything. As a result, everything is kind of a mess at the moment. As you can see, I'm recording on photo booth with my phone microphone, and I need to clean up my room before I can actually use a real microphone and get everything set up. But before I do any of that, I do want to give a quick little check-in, because I'm about halfway done with this book. This book is freaky. Freaky in many ways. I'm really intrigued. The whole premise of the book is that there are these kids locked up in an attic. You know, the whole thing is like they're bored, but luckily there's like this whole plot with the mom and the grandmother, and you're trying to figure out what's actually going on, why they've been in there so long, and it's really cool. The mother has started visiting them way less and kind of indulging in all this money. So yeah, very questionable ethics on the mother's part, especially the grandmother's part. I think she's just straight up evil. It's not even questionable at that point. So I'm about halfway through. I think it's only going to get weirder from here, only going to get worse, but I need to clean up my room, and then I'm thinking dinner and a reading montage. Okay guys, that was just an hour. I read 40 pages in that hour, which means that I read about one page in 1.5 minutes, and that means that I've got about 2.5 hours left reading tonight. It's about 8 o'clock. Oh no. I'm about to go meet Julia at one of the buildings here on campus because we have Spanish homework due tonight. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get back to reading. I might not get any sleep tonight. 15 minutes to win it. For this time lapse, I was moving back and forth in my chair, so I kind of look like one of those spinny flower firework things. But guys, if you love reading time lapses like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. It is all I do on this channel. Okay, my Spanish homework is done, but now it's 10:10 p.m. and I need to finish this book, and I'll probably be reading past midnight. On the bright side, I have a bag of peanut butter M&Ms that I will be devouring while I read for the next 2 hours. I'm going to change into some comfy pants, get into ultimate reading position, and then read until I'm done with this book. It's 1 a.m. and I finished the book. That was a lot to take in. So after a 3-hour reading session, I was done with the book. But had my love for reading returned? Debatable. Look, this isn't sustainable at all, the way I read books. I'll go weeks and months without reading a single page, and then I'll sit down for 5 hours and read a whole book in one night. But there are parts of these strategies that genuinely did help. A specific reading location. If you're going somewhere with the purpose of reading, you know you're gonna get some reading done. Especially if you're like paying for a coffee there, you're pretty much paying for reading. And you're making a day of it. It adds a whole other layer of fun. Also, scheduled reading times. This is really helpful for me because my schedule is so packed all the time, making sure that I do sit down and read during that time. But here's the important part. I finished this book and now I had to draft a review for my friend. We usually text in Spanish too, so that was a fun challenge for my 2 a.m. brain. Acabo de leer Flowers in the Attic. Y wow, qué raro. Disfruté los temas de control y manipulación y cómo el libro analiza los papeles de los géneros de una manera tan cruda. La presión y la codicia son cosas terribles, y pienso que se explicaron con todos sus matices muy bien. Definitivamente era inquietante, pero efectivo, y la escritura era muy elegante. Lamento que haya pasado tanto tiempo, pero gracias por esta experiencia. She also caught me liking this reel, which was funny.
¿Sabías que los pitufos, papá pitufo y pitufina, son pitufos?
So I'd say mission success? We'll really find out how effective this was in the next week or two. But to speak on this book more, it got really weird and dark and unsettling and also frustrating with how evil some of these characters were. But I think it did a really good job with the themes it was trying to push. Oppression, manipulation, greed, gender roles. It was really good theme-wise and developing those themes. It gets 4 stars for me. 4 stars. Because while it is good with the themes, it is a bit freaky, a little freaky for my taste. I'm pretty sure my friend's real favorite book is a different one from this series, which is kind of like a prequel for The Evil Grandma, and I feel like that one would be a banger, so I'll have to check that one out sometime too. If you want to see me do a bunch of reading in one sitting, I would definitely recommend checking out my video where I read 2 classics in the same night. That one's a banger. And yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe, like, and comment. Okay, bye.